Hey, it's Coach Andrew. This is a clip straight from one of our private group coaching sessions where we deep dive into the truth about blue light and whether or not it actually affects insomnia. If you've been told that avoiding screens is some kind of a magical fix for insomnia, then this is the video you need to watch. Because I dove in and looked at all the research, and you may be shocked at what I found. Let's jump in.
You know, a huge thing that, a huge hiccup that people have is this whole obsession about blue light.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to really do a deep dive and get the science of why it doesn't affect our sleep. Okay. So the topic is, does blue light actually affect sleep? Okay. What is blue light? Blue light is emitted by phones, computers, and TVs, and has been thought to mess with your melatonin, which is the sleep. It's not exactly a sleep hormone. It's a signaling hormone.
Okay.
It doesn't actually produce sleep. That's why taking melatonin doesn't fix insomnia. It's just it sends a signal to the brain that it's getting dark out. And so it can start the process of sleep, but it can't produce sleep on its own.
Okay.
So the belief is that the light from the screens is similar to sunlight and tricks the brain into thinking that it's in the daytime,
Right.
and then melatonin doesn't come. So what I found out is what actually matters is the lux rating of the light. And that's like essentially how bright it is. But you also have to consider there's something called the inverse square law, which means the further you are from a light source, the lux gets cut in half for every unit of measurement away from the light. So this is adjusted with the consideration of how far away someone typically is from that screen. And what I found out is that until the light source hitting your eye is over 500, it doesn't affect melatonin. So the theory is true, but it's not true with our electronic devices.
Right.
Okay? And you can see the lux amounts of all of our devices, plus even the lights of LEDs, which is something that people get obsessed about and stuff. And I used to be one of those people. I actually have 4 different types of blue light blocking glasses of different shades, because I used to think this was so important. And now I purposely I never use them. I do use them sometimes if it's late and my screen is kind of bright. I like to have it bright. Mm-hmm. So it does reduce eye strain.
Okay.
But I do not wear them thinking that it's going to do anything with my melatonin or anything like that. And I purposely have, for the last 6 months, not cared at all about blue light. And I found that it literally has 0 effect. So I proved it for myself. And anyway, I just wanted to get the scientific reasoning behind it.
That's great.
And so
I like anything scientific, so
yeah, me too. So that's basically how it breaks down. And then what they did find was even over 500 lux, it only had a delay of about 9 to 10 minutes, which is nothing. And if you think about it, like someone being observed sleeping could have definitely affected the results, you know? So like people that do those sleep lab tests, that's not a natural environment, you know?
Right.
And so really it's probably a lot less of even that. And then they also found out that all the phones now have the ability to switch to a more amber color. And they found out that yes, it does affect eye strain, but not melatonin.
Okay.
So I still use it. I think it's automatically now anyway.
Right.
But it's just a nice to have. It's not a need to have. And then, so like we've talked about so many times in the course, that screens can be a good tool to help us relax, you know, as long as you don't have any moral like thoughts about, you know, on that. And that's a big problem, a lot of people. And, and if it's not a screen, then you can always read a book or whatever, but you need light on to read a book. So people are like, how am I going to read if I can't have light? And it's like, you can have just some soft lighting, you know, or just have regular lighting. It doesn't really matter. When the sleep drive is unimpeded, it's going to knock you out, even in a room full of lights with the TV on full blast, you know? And so here is the research studies that I found. Essentially, they all just showed that the blue light in the glasses are ineffective for raising melatonin, and that the light itself, even without the glasses, doesn't affect it. And but if you do get over 500 lux, then they do start to see some changes, but it's just not realistic that that's going to happen with indoor lighting.
Right.
Unless you have really bright lights, and most people don't. So I think, and then in conclusion, blue lights from screens do not make insomnia worse. Intention matters most. So only watch things for pure enjoyment, never as a way to trick yourself into falling asleep, because that would be a sleep effort. It doesn't really work that way.
Yep.
And then always remember, focus on self-kindness and forgive yourself for any times that you ever got upset about using screens. So if you have times maybe in the past where that had happened, you can kind of think back on that and reframe it, like in light of the new information.
Yep.
And I find that is a powerful way to process like old times where we were mean to ourselves.
Sure.
Kind of rewrite our memories. And that's basically all I got. That's all there really is that you need to know about that topic.
If today's video resonated with you and you feel that little spark inside that's saying, maybe, just maybe, I could finally leave my insomnia behind for good, I invite you to click the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me. On this call, we'll go over where you are now, what you're struggling with, and ultimately create you a roadmap so that you can get where it is that you want to go. You don't have to figure this all out on your own. So if that's you, click the link in the description and book a call with me. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.